Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your host, Matt McGregor and Tone Vage. Good morning, Tone. How are you, mate?
Morning. I'm good. Enjoying the warm weather down here in Latin America.
What happened on Friday in America? Holy
Well,
shoot.
so do you remember every time in this in our streams over the last 3 months, I happen to say Trump wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, says something
Mm,
stupid relating to sanctions, and markets crash?
mm.
And what happens in the live chat? People are like, no, Tone, you're exaggerating. Trump doesn't crash the markets. He's just trying to get a better deal. China's taking advantage of us. And well, who was right, Tone
Well,
or our commenters,
mm.
right? So
well,
Trump,
I have a question though. Do you think it was Trump? I read that the next day after I saw it, but remember I was sending you all that stuff about the core dev team and the upgrades and how that's a big controversy. Do you not
it,
think it was that?
it is a big controversy. No, it wasn't that. It was literally
Mm,
Trump. Trump put out this Truth Social post that he seen some kind of letter from the government of China that the government of China is sending to other countries. Of course, they're not presenting the letter. They're not presenting
mm,
any evidence. I think they're just the U.S. government and Trump are just making this shit up. And China supposedly is putting a uh, like I don't know what word to I'm missing a word here.
Embargo? Embargo?
Not embargo. China is putting tighter controls on the rare earth minerals that they mine, and somehow America thinks that it has world monopoly on rare earth minerals that are found in China's ground,
In Australia.
right?
Australia. In Australia. Yeah, that's China's
Right.
ground.
Right. And So Trump decides to get aggressive with China and announced his 100% tariff on China, and the markets crashed. And what
Mm,
people have to realize is why is Bitcoin so tied to the stock market? Is because most things in the stock market are auto traded. So the moment
mm,
there's a piece of news hits the wire, it's not even a person reads the news, processes the information, and then
mm,
decides whether to buy or sell. A lot of the initial reaction to statements from the government, any government technically, but the US government has the biggest sway, and
mm.
Trump in within the US government has the biggest sway. I mean, if Elon Musk puts out some crazy statement, markets can crash as well, especially Tesla. So, and once these auto trading bots start reacting to a news event,
Mm.
it forces some people to liquidate, it causes some people to panic, and it affects all risk on assets. And this is why Bitcoin is so correlated to the stock market. Once the stock market began to crash, Bitcoin crashed along with it. And this is the other thing I stated on our show. When people think that somehow in the next bear market it won't be as bad, and what did I say, Matt? Remember what I
Mm.
said? I said the next bear market is going to be worse. And the reason
Mm.
the next bear market is going to be worse is because unlike the last bear market, when people start to sell IBIT will actually sell the Bitcoin on in the OTC and on the exchanges, which
Mm.
something GBTC was never able to do for like regulatory reasons. So once people start panicking and start selling IBIT shares, now BlackRock has to go onto the open market and dump Bitcoin on the exchanges, and Bitcoin is
Yeah.
already falling. No one
Well,
already wants it. Now you have this
it
behemoth coming in,
yeah.
dumping more Bitcoin, which causes the price to go lower, which causes
Mm.
more people to dump IBIT, which makes IBIT dump more Bitcoin on the market. It's just this bad cycle until enough um,
People on the
longs get
streets.
liquidated.
Mm.
Enough
Mm.
longs get liquidated. Some shorts are ready to cover to take profit from the crash, or some whale steps up and says, "Hey, I want to buy this Bitcoin at a discount." And this
Mm.
is why this thing completely crashed. I thought it only crashed to 108, but apparently some exchanges crashed as low as 102. The liquidation event was absolutely massive, and usually it's these liquidation events that create the fuel to now go higher. So on that note, let's go to the charts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and just as I load the charts up, doesn't it suck? It's like the worst of both. They don't buy Bitcoin on the open market to pump the prices higher. They buy it through OTC, but then they sit on the open market, which can really aid the price. It's kind of the worst of both.
well, I
Why
mean,
is this?
they could be buying. I think they are also buying Bitcoin on the open market. I mean, it's if the OTC is dry, I mean, they have to buy the Bitcoin somewhere. So they would. So if the OTC is dry, like they say, they're buying OTC, but where does the OTC guy get the Bitcoin? If the OTC guy is short, the OTC guy will go out, they'll buy the Bitcoin on the open exchange and make a commission percent by selling it to BlackRock, right? So at the end of the day, BlackRock is probably buying most of its Bitcoin on the open exchange. It's just not directly. Like BlackRock may not have an account with Binance or Coinbase, but their middleman probably does, and that's where they acquire the Bitcoin whenever the private sellers or miners just don't want to sell.
Yeah, well put. All right, let's go through this really quickly. As you can see, the wave is red. I'm treating this as an aberration. Aberration. What's the word where it's like a? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not treating this as a red wave because just with like a flash crash to change the wave red, I'm going to ignore that the wave is red as it stands right now. Now, if this rolls over and we start to get, below 110 again, then I'll completely, or even go back to that Lucid SAR where it got broken there at 107. If we get below that, I'm treating this as a red wave. I'm going to go back to thinking of this as a red wave and I'll act accordingly. But as it stands right now, I think that was a bit of a aberration or whatever that word is I'm looking for. I was able to buy at 108. I didn't personally do it. I was asleep at the time, but my team has access to our funds and we bought at 108, which we're happy with. As it stands right now, the recovery that's happened, it got as high as on the 4-hour time frame right now, obviously, got as high as the 200 simple moving average on the 4-hour. And I was my first concern is just looking at it out of the box that we will get rejected at that 200 or the 30 simple and roll over from there. So just to reiterate that point, I'm in at 108. I'm happy with that as this just being a flash crash that we can recover from. And it's all systems go back to the status quo. Q4 is going to be a great month, but I will lose my interest if we roll over from here and can't get above the moving averages on the 4-hour. That's where I sit right now on the 4-hour. The daily, it's all going to be the same jazz, right? We came back down inside the 200 simple moving average on the daily, had a terrific response off it, but we're still stuck below the 30 simple and the 7, and they're all rounding. So it's got some work to do. Like it would be easier to chart for me if the price had bounced, but it was sitting at like 110, or if it had bounced and we were back at 125. This is unfortunately back in that space where you could toss a coin at this point, which way it's going to go in the next week or so. I don't know. But so I'm just reviewing it. I'm in, and I'm going to wait to see what happens as we move forward. On the weekly time frame, you can see the price that we've bounced to right now is exactly the 7 simple to the dollar. All of my analysis is the same across all time frames, which is I don't mind that when it correlates, but it hasn't given me a true answer yet. The flash crash that we got went to basically exactly the 30 simple, which is good, really good that's held the price. And I really do think that we can start. This should be a red candle, obviously, but I really do think that we can just recover from this and just forget about it. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, that sucked. And then we're back to normal. It hasn't changed my thinking that I was, on Friday when we did the show, how excited I was. As it stands right now, I'm going to keep that momentum going, that I'm still completely positive. This is all by the dips for me. I'm ignoring the red wave until if it happens to be that we fold over. Have a looking now at some of those, the oscillators here. There's nothing there. Yeah, we've changed it back down. We were rounding beautifully on the copy curve, and now it looks like it's still going down. I don't mind. I don't mind. They're all going to say the same thing. They're painting a picture of uncertainty, but I'm still very confident with the price. Coming back to you in the studio right now, Tone. Um, hey guys, like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Get on board the Black Box community. We're here for you, and we'd love to welcome you with open arms. Tone, what are you seeing, mate? Am I way off base? Are we still good here?
All right. Well, we will. Uh, Before I jump onto Bitcoin, I saw someone in the chat asking me to look at cattle futures. Holy shit! This is the monthly chart of the price of cattle. Look at that.
Nice, beautiful, magic.
Well, not really. I like eating my beef, and I don't want it to be unreasonably expensive. And this is
Good
what
if you're
this
in the
is telling
cattle
me.
game.
Yeah. So it's we're in the wrong industry. So there is a monthly MRI top coming up. It will be a second consecutive monthly MRI top. I don't know if this has ever done that in the history of the of this asset. It topped on extension C back in 2014. It has never had a second monthly since 1977, right? So that's quite a bit of data. It is monthly data though. It's never had two consecutive monthly MRI tops, and I hope this thing crashes because your meat is about to be very, very expensive.
Well,
Uh,
they don't want you to eat meat anyway, dude. That'll be gone in 20 years. They won't even let you anymore.
yeah, no, it's not going to happen. And I wonder if pork has the same issue. No, it doesn't. See, that's a huge. Look at that. Look at the difference between pork and beef. One is exponentially rising, and the other is not. So there is a very, very different looking charts. Kind of crazy, I think. So I'm finding this super interesting. Just want to flip to the weekly chart, and I want to see where the MRI is on the weekly, and then we'll move on. Yeah, so maybe the top next month with another weekly. Oh, there's a nice weekly MRI top, 1 to 4 candle correction, and now we're in the extension phase. So yeah, sometime later this year there'll probably be a top, I hope, and then we properly go down. Look at that, the prior MRI top as well, right? Weekly MRI top, and then the beautiful correction off of that. All right, let's go to the Bitcoin charts. Look, the monthly chart is still not looking too bad. Still looking like we can have a blow off top in December. But this crash definitely put a damper into things. Weekly chart, not a good week at all. But the overall picture on a weekly scale is still bullish. I don't see a reason to panic that the price is going to go down into the 80s. Still consolidating near the top. It's just frustrating, because if Trump doesn't say anything, we're probably sitting at over $130,000 on the Bitcoin price by now. But instead, here we are. But we are holding the moving averages. It's not that bad yet, but we do need, a new weekly closing high sometime in the next few weeks. If we get another green star candle around 120, that's going to make me very, very bullish. Daily chart, again, as long as we don't make a new daily low, we are probably headed for new all-time high. The moment the daily candle closes lower than 111,000, I think then we are in trouble. As of right now, I think we're still okay, totally neutral. I would want to wait and see a daily close above all of these moving averages, get us into the same level as before, right? Nothing's changed. Last time I was saying I'm going to be very, very bullish once we go above 117. And I threw a caution flag on the MRI top. I didn't expect this MRI top to crash us all the way down. I thought it would only fall to about 120 and then reverse, which is exactly what it started doing. And then on Friday, Trump decided to open his mouth. I think we're still okay. We just got to get back above 117, same exact area as before. Once we get back above that, people will be okay. Now, we are coming closer to that big controversy in the Bitcoin space. It's actually a giant mess. I may do a podcast about it with Jimmy Song and Adam Back. I just got to find the time to I just got to organize it, which is, I know everyone would want to see that, but I swore I wasn't going to do any more Bitcoin content. So this may be the last one ever on Bitcoin content. Because honestly, I know a lot of people are invested in which direction it's going to go. I'm less invested in which direction it's going to go. I'm very confident that no matter which side wins, the price of Bitcoin is still going to 250,000. And I'm also confident no matter which side wins, Bitcoin will probably not survive past 2040, maybe even past 2035, because people just can't get along and act together. So I think we still have about 2 more cycles in Bitcoin. And then I have very pessimistic views for the world. I think currency will be very, very different after 2040.
Yes, that's bloody the most controversial. We might have to delete this show. Someone will throw that up on YouTube or X or something that Tone Vase thinks by 2040 Bitcoin will be dead. Let's not.
Actually, yeah, there's many reasons for that. I'll probably do a show on that. I still think it's the greatest asset in the world, but I actually don't think people that are. I just think Bitcoin is going to have a lot of problems after in about 10 to 20 years.
I hope I'm dead before that.
Yeah. But it may not matter to most of us at that point, right? People would have already moved on. Hey, it would have had, but look, when it's all said and done, Bitcoin would have had, what, a 30, 40-year run? That's pretty good.
Mate, if Bitcoin goes to $250,000, then it doesn't matter for me.
Yeah, it's probably going higher. Now,
like
keep in mind, ain't no shitcoin is taking it over, right? So there is not going to be another cryptocurrency like the world.
What about Fightcoin? Fightcoin's got legs, man.
Yeah. There will not be another crypto that is better than Bitcoin. It will be Bitcoin. After that, I think bullets will be currency.
Yeah. Jesus.
Curve versus knots. Honestly, guys, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's core or not. They both have their problems. They both have their problems.
Yeah, if you don't know what that means, that you look into it because it's pretty relevant right now from what happened on Friday. I still think that's a big part of what happened as well.
Knots is the only way forward. It's debatable if knots is the only way forward. Because at the moment there's one person managing knots. Is that the way forward? It's a debatable issue. It's a debatable issue.
Can you look at the S&P 500 for me, mate? I'm desperate to see your thoughts on it.
Sure. On a short-term chart, same thing. We gotta get back
like the Bitcoin chart.
Hmm?
Looks like the Bitcoin chart.
Yeah,
isn't that strange?
I'll get there. Look at that. Look at Bitcoin dominance during the crash, right? Yeah. So even when Bitcoin crashes, like it did, shitcoins crash more. Shitcoins just crash more. They're totally terrible. And lots of liquidations in the shitcoin. There had to be lots of liquidations in the shitcoin space as well. And you can see Bitcoin dominance is rising. Gold, new all-time high. How about that? Pretty cool. Silver, I think so. Wow, silver broke $50. Again, when those markets crash, gold and silver are not as correlated to the stock market as gold is, as Bitcoin is.
Well,
so they're the opposite right now.
I mean, we've seen when the markets have crashed heavy that gold also suffers and silver also suffer. But for something like this, like a really short term, which I still think this is just an aberration was the word I was looking for. I'm not seeing it as anything more. I think by next week we're back up 120 and we're fine. And we won't even remember this crash unless you didn't capitalize on it or you got liquidated. And in those cases, I see a lot of it, regularly people will go into gold for something like that.
Yeah, so it's different, right? So gold and silver will crash if we go into an extended bear market
Right.
in
Yeah, that's what I
risky
mean.
assets.
Yeah.
But in a flash crash, gold and silver are not as affected, and you can see the massive exponential rise. I was on,
Jesus.
I was on another channel. I mean, like it reminds me even more of 1980 than it does, the 2011. And it was funny. Like I was on a podcast in Russian at the end of last week. And then you have, the gloom and doomers, people like Robert Kiyosaki and all the rest of them saying stock market is going to crash. They're in a bubble. It's an exponential rise for the stock market, but gold and silver is amazing. I'm like, are you looking at the chart? Which one looks like an exponential, unsustainable rise? Is it this asset, silver, on a monthly scale? Or is it this right here, which is S&P 500? Here is the same monthly scale. I'm going to zoom this out. Let's go back. I don't know, 20, 30 years. Let's go to the early 1990s, right? So here it is. Okay, here is one chart going back to the late 80s, early 90s, and here is this one right there. Which one is exponential and which one is slow and
Stable.
steady, right? I
Yeah.
mean, people are crazy. This is the exponential rise. This is the bubble. How much higher can it go? I don't know.
Very,
Maybe it can go to
very
60, but
high.
I guarantee you it's going to crash way sooner than the stock market will.
Yeah, it was. Hey, there was a great question here by Zama Lek One, whatever. Don't know how to say it. Hey Tone, I'm putting some juice on this. Hey Tone, does this crash cause Bitcoin cycle to extend next year instead of ending in this quarter? I don't. My opinion. It was a question of Tone, but I'll answer it first.
Sure.
I don't think that we're going to have this crash, this flash crash. I don't think it's going to have any consequence at all. And I said that in my analysis. And if it rolls back over to 108 and starts to tear, looks like it's fading, then I'll change my opinion. But as it stands right now, personally, I don't see this changing any cycles, having any effect beyond like a week or two. Tone.
I agree. This crash is irrelevant in the scheme of Bitcoin is going to top where Bitcoin tops, and this crash does not alter that. I personally do not believe we topped. I was always expected. I was always expecting this bull market to extend into next year, regardless of this crash. So I don't think it made any difference whatsoever. Now on the S&P 500 front, we crashed on the MRI day in the futures market, and we crashed, I believe, the day after the MRI top on the cash market. And I warned everyone, hey, MRI top on the S&P 500, be careful. Now, obviously, I know that this was caused by Trump, but when we look back at this chart in 5 years, we're still going to see the MRI top call a perfect top. We're not going to remember that it was Trump's tweet that did it.
Hey mate, the chat is on fire with your 10 a.m. reversal. Let's see if if it's in play right now.
Let's take a look. On the stocks or on Bitcoin?
I would assume they're talking about the Bitcoin.
That's got to be it. Beautiful. Perfect candle right there. Perfect reversal candle. 10 a.m. and we're dropping. Yeah, there it is. Mondays, the beginning of the week is way better for the 10 a.m. reversal. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those have always been the best 10 a.m. reversal days. Friday, not so much.
Well, I mean, and I always talk about, the weekly market open when you guys are asleep, and when it's 9 a.m. here in Japan, and we get that new weekly candle. It was a terrific day today, and I love it when it's a Monday pump day. You call it a weekend pump, but I don't call it a weekend pump. It's a Monday pump for us, and it was a good day today. So let's see what this can do here. That's not great.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal, but hopefully the 10 a.m. reversal is running its course, and by 10:30 or 10:30, we start to reverse back to the upside. I do want to check what it looks like on the S&P.
Same.
Very similar. These are 10-minute candles, not 5-minute candles like in Bitcoin. There's your S&P 10 a.m. reversal. Absolutely perfect. Textbook perfect. On a 5-minute chart, I would have been entering my short trade probably on maybe at the end of the 10:05 candle, or more likely on the 10:10 candle. I would be noticing the reversal and I would be entering here. Anything more than 10 points is an amazing trade, and we're already 20, so that's great.
I've got a question for you. Did you ever do this? I know that you often talk about if you had a trade like this, beautiful like this, that you might just close the computer and go to the gym. But let's just say you've made this trade, and let's just say you close it at that moving average. Do you know what I mean? Down those joint moving averages for
No,
whatever
no, no.
reason.
I wouldn't even close it. I would take some profit. This is why
Yeah.
I would always trading more than one futures contract.
Yep.
I would trade 2 or 4 contracts, and if I was trading 4 contracts, I would probably already be selling 1 or 2 of them,
Mhm.
and then if it gets to here, I would maybe sell another one, and I would just set a trailing stop.
Yep. Yep.
But I'm actively in front of the market till at least noon or 1 p.m. Like
Well,
if I'm going to the gym, it's after that.
that was just a setup for the question. The question was going to be, let's just say you finally scaled out of this because it had a bit of a bounce, right? We hit that moving average and it spiked and started to recover quite strongly. Would you ever then go long? Let's just say we got to the top of that little consolidation, the top of that right
Yeah.
there.
No,
Would you?
I would.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. I would go
specifically,
long, and I would
specific,
keep my stop losses very, very tight. I'm like,
yeah,
hey, let me use 20-30% of my profit from this morning to see if I can to see if it goes back to new all-time high, because that happens often. Like, I'm still expecting this
yeah,
to reverse and make new highs by end of day. So if
yeah.
I can
That's
catch that, absolutely I will.
sorry, mate, because that's what I meant. Like there's a 10. The real question was, it was just a long-winded way to say it. Does the 10 a.m. reversal and the response that often comes quite well off that, um, does it have an equally positive effect if it has like a fantastic recovery? Like, is it ever taken in consideration? Well, we just dumped X amount very, very quickly on the 10 a.m. reversal, and now we're recovering very, very quickly in the opposite direction. Does that ever factor in as does it make any difference being the 10 a.m. to 11 o'clock time rather than being 2 in the afternoon? Like, if it happens quite quickly like that, does that
Yeah,
ever
it's,
get
it's got to happen more on the faster side, because
right?
I would never enter a trade after 2 p.m. Right, so
Yeah.
I want to profit from the downside over a 30-minute to a 2-hour span, and if
Mm.
I'm going long, I mean, occasionally there are 2 p.m. reversals, but I don't want to trade that late. So if I'm going long, I would prefer it to be before noon.
Hmm.
And my best place to go long, and this is more stock related than index related, is if this was a stock and we gapped up like this, maybe a little bit smaller of a gap. I
Yeah.
would love to see us reverse, close the gap, and then I would love to buy it as at the gap close. That also is very, very common, especially with stocks.
There's a really good question here. It's a long-winded answer, and I don't think I'm in the right headspace to answer it. But look, in my opinion, the FTX crash, uh, it wasn't. It didn't cause like the crash in the market didn't cause FTX to go bankrupt in a vacuum. It happened because of Alameda research and the insider trading that they were doing that caused the FTX to collapse. So I don't think just because we've had a crash now, well, that'll instantly trigger other exchanges to go bankrupt if they're acting in good faith. It was the back end of FTX that was a shambles, not just a fluctuation in price that caused that.
Um, well, if the exchanges are running an honest shop, this is irrelevant to the exchanges.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's
Right.
right.
And in the case of FTX, and when it was a Ponzi, I
Yeah.
remember people were like, oh, I love FTX. I always get the fills at the exact price. I'm putting them in. There's no slippage. Well, now you know why there's no slippage. Those trades weren't real. They were just, they were
Audible.
showing you on the computer screen that you're holding Bitcoin, when in reality, it was just, numbers on an Excel spreadsheet.
Right.
Uh, so eventually, they went bust when people withdrew more Bitcoin than, they showed people had. And Alameda was trying to profit from insider trading, and they were so incompetent that they couldn't even do that, right? To keep the whole thing moving.
Yeah. Yeah, no, spot on. Spot on. I wrote a note here before when you were talking about how the bots work in the financial markets. And there's a fantastic, an average book called Flash Boys by Michael Lewis. But there's an equally average book about Sam Bankman-Fried that Michael Lewis wrote just as it launched. I can't remember what that's called. It might be called Fried or Sam Bankman-Fried or something like that. But Michael Lewis is my favorite author. That both Flash Boys and that FTX book isn't that great, but there's still good information. He was there at the compound down in wherever it was when the whole thing went belly up. He had first-hand experience. This is the same guy that wrote Moneyball, that wrote everything, every good movie that you like, The Big Short, everything. He's written it in good books, good author.
All right, I think it's time to wrap it up. On this note, I don't have much else to add. And let's see what happens the rest of the week.
Yeah.
As I said on my personal YouTube channel when I did a show, cursing out Trump, for all the I don't think Trump has done much good. I mean, he did free Ross Ulbricht, and he may or may not have closed the border, which should have never been wide open, and he ended some of the stupidity of DEI, which also should have never happened. But at the moment, I would grade Trump's presidency as a D minus. That's basically my grade for Trump's presidency.
Yeah. All right. Come on, screen share. I'll say goodbye.
All right. Let me do that.
Guys, just on a personal note, I didn't even want to do the show today, not because the price had dropped and we needed to talk about the price, but I really, really hope that no one got seriously damaged by being slightly leveraged during this period. It's the hardest thing to do a show knowing that people watching just got ass fucked on the weekend, like it's awful. So I hope that you're fine and you maybe you profited from it, but I hope that nobody got seriously damaged. I see Twitter is a mess of people who lost millions of dollars in a blink of an eye. And always remember to don't trade with your whole balance of Bitcoin. Just keep it small, so it doesn't matter if you get wiped out. And on that note, see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, man. Well, the reason why we do these videos every day is to try to help guide people through the markets. And the last thing we want to see is people lose money. We want to see people make money. We want to see people do well. Like liquidations are not good, very bad.
Yeah.
And hence my very angry video at Trump, because he caused these liquidations and it was completely unnecessary. I think he's been a very, very bad president, and kind of regret voting for him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a comment just here, mate. Like, don't 50x leverage on shitcoins. We're Tony and I are very hard on shitcoins, but I mean, 50x leverage is fine to do if you're using like a 0.0001 of your overall net worth. You get in the trouble when you use 2 or 3x or 4x leverage with all of your money, with all of your possessions in the world. Just gambling on like 100x leverage with $10, go nuts with that. It's not going to hurt you. You won't win, but just keep it safe. And once again, have a lovely night, lovely day, and we'll see you at the same time tomorrow night. Thanks for joining.
Bye, guys.